Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. I've got a new sponsor to talk about today in Meridian Mining, and they've got a very exciting project with exceptional numbers in their preliminary economic assessment in Brazil. It's a VMS project that looks like it could be an entire belt of VMS deposits, and I'm really glad they. I recently did an interview with their CEO, and I made the offer that I'd like them to become a sponsor because it's the kind of project that I think I can talk about many times because I think they'll have great news flow out. And I really think that this company, which is trading near its 52-week low, that's similar to a lot of stocks in the mining sector these days. But this is time that you can take advantage of very cheap valuations. And I think this is one you want to consider. So I'm going to start with a screen share here. And we'll get right into it. So as you can see, Cabaçal is Brazil's premier advanced gold copper VMS with potential upside of over a 50-kilometer belt scale exploration. Advanced stage project development at Cabaçal with leading economics for gold copper projects. And when we get into those numbers later, I think you're going to be very impressed. So let's go and look at some of their press releases of late. Back here, Meridian reports shallow, high-grade drill results from Cabaçal and 1 kilometer step out from Cabaçal. In this, they reported 12.6 meters of 15.5 grams per ton of gold equivalent. 15.3 of that coming from the gold, 0.2% copper, and 0.6 grams per ton of silver. And that starts right at surface from 43.3 meters, which represents a northern extension of similar high-grade results. This and additional results in the mine areas show the potential to better define the projection of higher grade trends across the deposit. What basically they have here is it's got VMS, sort of like a sheet-like body, and then coming up into that is the is an overprint of gold, high-grade gold. And this is very interesting for a couple of reasons. One, the historical drilling that was done was with vertical holes that were very good for defining the VMS part of the system, but pretty poor in analyzing if your veins of gold come up like this and you're drilling, you can miss them quite easily. So they're starting to do angled holes, and that's turning out to be quite a positive development. As you can see here, the highlights reported, this was on July the 11th, 12.6 meters of 15 grams, a 1 kilometer step out, adds context for further exploration for VMS sulfide mounds. Dr. Adrian MacArthur, who is CEO, comments, the CD264 high-grade result of 12.6 meters from 43.3 meters shows the value of infill drilling and achieving better definition of shallow high-grade trends within the Cabaçal deposit. The result continues to build on the importance of CNWE as a focal point for early production scenarios. We are advancing Cabaçal vigorously on multiple fronts with drilling, geotechnical evaluation, and with environmental studies to support expanded production scenarios to be evaluated in a PEA update. Our goal remains to continue moving Cabaçal on its pathway to development whilst laying the foundation to realize broader discovery potential of this underexplored belt. So they show you, look at the gold distribution and the mineralization in the system. It's quite large and very impressive. Here they show you some of the quartz. with their that intersected the visible gold. You can start to see some of that visible gold. Okay, so then we go on. That was on July the 11th. Then they commenced drilling at the Santa Elena with a fourth rig. Now, this is a fair distance from the Cabasol, which is the main project, but then the Santa Elena is coming up as a second project or second deposit that they can develop while they're working on Cabasol. So on September the 12th, they announced some impressive drill results. Meridian intercepts shallow, high-grade copper, gold, silver, zinc, massive sulfides at Santa Helena. They reported 14.9 meters at 3.1% copper equivalent from 26.3 meters. So they're getting high grades starting right at the surface. Santa Helena's near surface massive sulfides are hosted within a broader mineralized zone representing the next potential open pit target within the Cabasol belt. The recent incorporation of Meridian's geophysics and mapping has identified an additional 1.1 kilometer near mine exploration extension to Santa Elena, doubling the area of interest beyond the 1 kilometer strike of the historical resource. And that new target extends Santa Helena's prospectivity towards the 4 kilometer Alamo target. They announced robust results from their ongoing resource definition program at Cabasol, with broad zones of copper gold mineralization continue to be intercepted, and these values will be included in the Q4 resource and PEA update. The results represent part of the company's dual track strategy of advancing Cabasol mine towards a production decision in 2024, while exploring the wider potential of the 50-kilometer Cabasol VMS belt. And that's something that's important to point out about VMS, volcanogenic massive sulfide deposits. These are volcanic events, and they happen in clusters. So where you find one, you often find several. One of the most famous belts is the Iberian Pyrite Belt in Spain and Portugal. And so you can have many, many mines along these belts. And Meridian has the entire belt pretty much in their land holdings. And the two key ones are Cabasol and Santa Helena, but they have plenty of other targets that look like they could result in VMS discoveries as well. And as you can see from the highlights, 14.9 meters at 3.1% copper equivalent. Included in that was 6.7 meters of 4.3% copper equivalent. And that's from 26.3 meters and from 27.5 meters. So that higher grade 7 meters at 4.3 basically starts at the top of the intersection. They also had 19.1 meters at 1.3% copper equivalent from 8 meters. So you're talking less than 30 feet from the surface. Included in that was 4.9 meters of 4.6% copper equivalent. So really high grade material here. Starting right at surface, they talk about the opening up an exploration target for an additional 1.1 kilometers. They continue to deliver excellent results from Cabasol, 30 meters at 1.2 grams per ton of gold equivalent, including 6.4 meters at 3.9 grams per ton gold equivalent. A lot of open pit mines these days are mining at 0.5 gram per ton of gold. So you're getting significantly higher grades than that for an open pit target. more 30 meters of 1.4 grams of gold, 6.1 meters of 3.9, lots of nice material in there that would make for a great open pit. Gilbert Clark, who is the CEO, commented, and I quote, "The company is very pleased with these first shallow high-grade drill results from the Santa Helena, carrying some very strong grades in an excellent start to Santa Helena's exploration program. The prospectivity of its historical resource area has been doubled in strike length via an additional 1.1 kilometer geophysical extension and associated soil anomalies. The open nature of Santa Helena's prospectivity extending towards the Alamo prospect represents the largest copper, gold, silver, and zinc exploration target in the belt. We believe strongly that Santa Helena's unmined shallow resource and immediate exploration upside potential will deliver further success. The Cabasol deposit continues to deliver robust intersections of shallow gold, copper, silver mineralization that will be incorporated into the Q4 resource and PEA updates. Cabasol's PEA envisages a standalone open pit mine and mill, while neighboring deposits like Santa Helena have the potential to benefit from this by being only a short trucking distance away. The Cabasol's belt's potential to grow towards being a mining district with multiple open pit projects has been enhanced with these results. So then they give you more details about the drilling and the drill results, and here's what they're talking about, the extension. As you can see, that this geophysical anomaly continues for quite some distance, and they've also got geochem that backs up the geophysical anomaly. So quite a significant extension, and it looks like it can get a lot bigger than that. Here gives you some cross sections where you can see the mineralization starting right at surface. Whole list of drill holes from Cabasol and from Santa Helena. Here's the Cabasol project. The black dots are Meridian Mining's drill holes. The gray ones are the historical results, and the assays, and the red are the assays reported in this news release. And as you can see, it just keeps getting, they're doing much tighter drilling, which will help them define the resource and plan the mining of the future. And I do believe that that's where this project is heading, is to a future mine. And as you can see, there's the whole list of the assay results that you can look over in that news release. And they also talked a couple of days ago about getting rid of, or doing deals to review, or they're reviewing their non-core exploration assets and looking at ways to make those into a reality for the investors. And then on September 27th, this is the one that they confirms high grade at Santa Helena. More of these great results for a shallow high grade confirmed at Santa Helena. Lots of juicy numbers in there. Here's a great quote from Gilbert Clark. He commented, and I quote, "The company is very pleased to confirm with this latest intersection that Santa Helena displays all of the hallmarks of a gold-enriched VMS system, creating a great opportunity to repeat the success in resource growth that we saw in the Cabasol deposit. Santa Helena's near mine exploration upside has also extended out to at least 1.6 kilometers beyond the historical resource limits, with the geophysical anomaly now shown to coincide with an eastern copper gold anomaly, enhancing the potential for further discovery. The Cabasol VMS belt hosts numerous copper gold and gold only prospects, with the gold overprint interpreted to be sourced from an underlying tonalite intrusion. The largely untested exploration upside in the belt is underpinned by the robust economics of the Cabasol Mines PEA. We see this combination as the logical fit of our dual track development and exploration strategy within Meridian's emerging as Brazil's near-term copper gold mine developer. They give you more details of what the drilling looks like. Again, you know, you've got this sort of flat-lying body that it's okay to drill vertical holes, but you want to start getting into these angled holes in order to capture these subvertical gold structures, because you could drill right here a vertical hole and right here a vertical hole, and you totally miss that structure. And that's why you want to start getting in there with angled holes. But what makes it really impressive is that this is an overprint onto the VMS deposit. So, you know, you don't know how deep these the gold overprint could go for, and that could also add quite significantly to their inventory of metals and the economics of the whole project. Alrighty, so now I'm going to switch over to their, let me get this down here. I did it the wrong way. Let me stop share for a second, and then we'll go back to screen share, and I'm going to get to the right page. So here we're going to go over their investor presentation, because they give you a lot of great information in here that I think is very helpful. So as they say in their headline, Cabasol, Brazil's leading gold copper VMS development project with upside of over 50-kilometer belt scale exploration potential. They have their forward-looking statement warning there. You can find that in their corporate presentation. This is one of the numbers that really stood up. These are the numbers that really stand out to me. Internal rate of return of 58.4%. Not a lot of mines these days are coming in with those kind of IRRs. That's really industry leading kind of numbers. But then what also makes it interesting is the capital expenditure to build this mine would only be US dollars 180 million. You know, most mines these days are starting with a billion in the capex. So this is a tiny capex, and because of the high IRR and the low capex, the payback on this would only be 10.6 months. And that's using 1650 an ounce gold and 359 a pound of copper. The economics are driven by a high grade starter pit and low strip ratio. So they're mining ore, not waste. Simple processing and high metallurgical recoveries, sustainable low cost hydroelectric power. Brazil has a low cost operating environment, and they're preparing for the next phase of permitting, engineering, and economic studies. Here is a list of some of the mining companies that are active in Brazil, and as you can see, a lot of the majors: Vale, BHP, Anglo American, Kinross, Lundin Mining, AngloGold Ashanti, Hochschild, ERO Copper, G Mining Ventures, Pan American Silver. So it's a very popular place to be mining for these major mining companies. And it certainly looks like Meridian has a project that would be attractive to several of these companies. As you can see here, they're talking about systematically unlocking the 50-kilometer belt scale potential. You can see along here a structure and a series of geophysical anomalies. Cabasol South, the Cabasol mine is up in here. And I believe it's down, yeah, Santa Helena is down here. Both of these were past producing mines, but lots of geophysical and geochemical anomalies. That does suggest that there should be more discoveries to be made. Here is the PEA demonstrates an exceptional potential open pit mining operation. And here they're going through the different price bases. And as you can see, as you go from 1,550 of gold, their base case is 15 or 1,650, which gives them an IRR of 57.8%. You go up to 1,750 and it's 62%. 1,950 and you're looking at 70.1%. And I believe that gold is going over 2,000 probably by the time this project gets into production. And so it would be just a cash making machine. Here they give you the sensitivity to the different prices of copper. And as I said earlier, $180 million low initial capex, 10.6 months to pay it back, 2.5 million tons per annum throughput rate, LOM sustaining capex of 108 million, USD life of mine revenue of 2.9 billion. They produce 131,000 ounces of gold equivalent from average. That would be the average from years 1 through 5 of production. Again, just fantastic numbers. Really is industry leading kind of numbers. You just don't see a lot of projects out there with a 58% IRR and a 10.6 month payback of the capex. Here they're giving you some Calbasol versus recent gold project economic studies. And as you can see, it ranks at the top of the list for after-tax unlevered IRR. And you're talking about some pretty impressive groups of projects in there. You can read this on their website, but definitely top of the list as far as after-tax IRR. And then on the capex, it comes in at a very low capex and a rapid payback period that is again leading amongst their peers. This is an interesting block model to me because first you can see this is using a 0.3 gram per ton cutoff of gold. And you can see the overall deposit is quite large when you use that 0.3 gram per ton cutoff. But even when you up the cutoff to 0.5 grams per ton of gold, you still have you don't lose a lot of the size and you increase the grade of the overall deposit. Now here you add 0.8 grams per ton cutoff and you don't lose a lot of the size and you increase the overall grade. And here is a 1 gram cutoff, and it still hangs in there quite beautifully. And again, you don't lose a lot of the material. So quite impressive distribution of the mineralization throughout this whole system. Here they give you some the high-grade starter zone that would lead to the Cabasol main zone and really close to surface here. Okay, here's your talking about the attributes of the Cabasol mine. Higher grade zones drive economics. They talk about the first year mining in the starter pit, higher grade mill feed, the numbers that are associated with that. They talk about the simple processing flow sheet with high recoveries, and this is one of the attributes that makes it for a high IRR when it's easy to get the metals out of the material. That makes for a very positive economics. And they talk about how they get to total recoveries of 92.4% copper, 89.7% gold. Here is the plant design for flexible expansion, potential to minimize cost by using depleted open pit for waste storage. A lot of great attributes to this. Leading with sustainable power sources. So you got dams there, hydroelectric power. It's got everything you could check off on, on a project. Key areas for near-term upside opportunities. They're working on a PEA and a resource update application for preliminary license. Incorporates Santa Elena, potential for high-grade feed, evaluating potential increased throughput, mine corridor exploration upside. The Sakuri and the Alamo look very quite impressive as well, whether looking at them from the geophysical perspective or geochemical. And it's right on this belt, so stands to reason that they can find more, because that's the nature of VMS belts. And here it gives you their cap structure. You can take a look at that. 2023 mine catalysts. The PEA already been released. Cabasol infill drilling for higher grades already underway and reporting those. Testing near mine open zones, test multiple resource development targets, updated resource and PEA. In 2024, application for preliminary license, completion of a feasibility. So they're going right from a preliminary economic assessment to a feasibility study. When you do enough work in your preliminary economic assessment, sometimes a preliminary feasibility study is not needed because you do such robust analysis in the preliminary economic assessment stage. And that's why they're moving right to a feasibility study. They're going to have a first resource at Santa Elena, further validation of exploration upside and achieving social engagement goals. Here is some more on the statistics of the project. Here's the board of directors and advisors. They've got a tremendous team there that are working, and not only at the management, but their Brazilian-based management. And this is really important because you need people on the ground that know what they're doing in order to bring these projects forward. It doesn't matter if you're in Brazil, anywhere, Argentina, Peru, Mexico, Canada, the United States. You need this local expertise to be right there with their boots on the ground. And that's what they have in their Brazilian-based management team. Here they're talking about the historical aspects of the project. I'm not going to go into too much of that because I'm planning an interview with Gilbert Clark in about 2 or 3 days. So we can go into that. They talk about renewable energy as a source of power for the project. Again, this company is really ticking off all the boxes of what will be an impressive, here's their recovery, an impressive future mine. And I think that's without a doubt in the future. And that earlier map that I showed you of the geophysics, it kind of follows some key structures that go from here. And this is where all the deposits are. And as you can see, that continues down into this area as well, and even down into here. So they've got lots of room to keep expanding. And when I was talking to Gilbert Clark about the company, he talked about the potential that this could be decades of production. And that's what he was talking about, that, you could start with Cabasol and Santa Elena, and as you're working on those, you can keep expanding and looking for more VMS deposits, which there's all the indications that they're on an entire belt here. And That's quite an impressive story. They think that they could have another system out here that looks quite interesting. These are all geophysical anomalies here in the right package of rocks. So you're in the greenstone belt that is similar. It's the same story as what you're looking at over here at Cabasol. And this one's not too far away. Here they give you some comparisons to impressive mines, VMS mine camps throughout the world, and how you could fit that into their project area. And they say they are a junior company acquiring ownership of a VMS belt on a camp scale, and it's a rare opportunity. Yeah, just have a look at this presentation because it's quite impressive. And so, as I said earlier, this is an exciting story for me for two reasons. One is that the economics look like industry leading, and you just don't get those kind of high grade, low capex projects that come along very often. And that's what Meridian has. But then they've got this exploration potential because they're looking at a belt of VMS deposits. And that's the nature of VMS deposits. Where you find one, you can often find many because they occur in clusters. And so they've got the economics of the mining story and the potential with exploration that could deliver great news. So I think that this company is going to be news flow rich, which is why I'm really happy that they are a sponsor now, so that we can keep talking about this as the company evolves. And I think ultimately what they're building is a company that will be taken over by a much bigger mining company, because mining companies need these kind of assets, ones that make money. And I think that it would be attractive to many major mining companies, mid-tier mining companies. And I'm really excited that they're a sponsor and we can do a lot of coverage of them. The next coverage for them will be an interview with Gilbert Clark on Wednesday. I'm recording this on Monday, October the 9th. So on October the 11th, I'll be talking with Gilbert again. And I think you'll want to tune into that show as well. As always, my shows are for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework, speak with your financial advisors to assess your risk profile if this makes sense to you. I really believe strongly in investors doing their homework. That interview I did recently with Gilbert Clark, and the next one will be a good launch for your homework on the company. Check out their website, check out their news releases, check out their corporate presentation, because they lay everything out there quite exceptionally. You know, they are a sponsor, so that makes me biased, but whether a company is a sponsor or not a sponsor, they have to check all the boxes that I look for, because, you know, I've got 30 years of experience looking at projects, and I only want to talk about the ones that impress me. And that's exactly what has happened as I've learned about Meridian. So on that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.